Hey, 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 this is Kurt the Boat Doctor. You can even put a Raft up here. This is a 3133 X SXL center console North River Seahawk with the twin 300s. Coming down here to do the water test. Look how deep this sucker is. This is grab handles. It really feels awesome when you're in here. You got good height to it. But this is what I did on the rope. I didn't have to tie that, but before I leave, I'll untie that one, then I'll get in the boat. But the rear entry door makes it handy where I could just be in here and unhook it and take off. Now, it doesn't matter today because I got the north wind and the tides coming in, so it will help it keep pushed up against the dock. But here's what I normally do when I'm running the boat out to get all my stuff. Put in here. Make sure these are all in right. There we go. What do you think of those seats? Then you can pop them up like that. Or drop them down. And for right now, I'm going to take this one, pop it up, put that like that, get my coffee, put it right here. Take this here like this, so you can see. And this here is for the camera that I'm recording on now. But I got adapters in here. So, what I'm going to do is charge up my batteries for that. Oop. Wrong plug. And there you go. Then what I'm going to do, and I got this I'm going to use later, I'm going to take this, plug it in right here. Into the USB port. Put this bad boy right here. Get my batteries. Right here. Put these here on the charger. Then I got one for my cell phone, and then I got, yeah, I could have used this one too. So if I wanted to charge it up, I could take, these are both USB. So I'd have to go over here, go to the 12 volt. You always want one 12 volt. And I can use this to charge my phone. Then I take this, don't need this anymore. So I'll put it right here. Then I'll come back. Then what I do is I check, make sure I don't have no water in any of my tanks. And this is hooked up to a macerator, thank goodness. But I did have the big plug just in case. See, normally they took a plug, but they run this on a macerator now, so you don't need that plug. And watch this. You can just drop it. Storage, good rigging job. North River does an awesome job on rigging boats, by the way. Okay, so now I check that. Here's your bait tank, make sure that's locked, cup holders, drain, fuel tank. And I did notice this the other day, they rounded the corners because live baits, they like oval. If you put them in a square tank, you'll kill it. They run into it, they're kind of dumb that way. They'll run into the wall and knock themselves silly. So then you pop this down, turn it on, just on both. If those don't come on, whoops. Turn those breakers on, you got a battery charger. Pop that up. Bring that down. Here's your primer bulbs. I'm primering them up. Then right here's the seacock valve for that wash down. See if it's open. Nope. I'm gonna open that up. Put the cap back on. leave that down for a second. I could start from back here, but what I'm going to do is come up here. You got a foot, oh, a little chilly. You bring that slides out shut. You turn the key on, you got power. Make sure it's on station 1. Trim it down till you hear a thud. There. Okay, so say you did that and you heard that high, you know, but it dropped like before you get to that thud. That means you have low batteries. So I would drop it to there, start it up. Once you start it, drop it the rest of the way down. But we got good batteries. Set to the nighttime mode, neutral. Here's your trim. There, neutral, temp gauge, tack, fuel gauge, miles an hour. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and hit the starboard motor first. Then I'm gonna hit the port, it doesn't matter. Then you can look at that, they're both running. So when these motors are brand new put on, sometimes I fire these up first, and then I finish going up the primer bulb, because that fuel pump will pick up the fuel. There you go, that one's hard. But if you didn't do that, and that one's hard, you could take a long time. So if you ever change them water separators, you should do that once a year. Make sure you fill those up with fuel and rub maybe some grease around that gasket. Because if you don't fill them up with fuel, he'll be pumping for a long time. But maybe not so much when they're, oh, say already ran once, because then you still got fuel in the line. But if you run it for a while, it'll take out of that line, but it's going to try to fill up them filters. Okay, so then we come here. I check the water flow. Good on both. And then what I do is just switch stations. You hit this until, now if that thing was blinking, the station button, that means one of these are in gear, either up there or there. But say this, you did get this, but they wouldn't start, check for lanyards. So you got to have the lanyard up there and back here. So then what I do, just to make sure, I bump this in reverse. Yep. Bump it forward, reverse, forward. So that way I know all the harnesses are hooked up right. There's nothing worse than pulling away from the dog and finding out the harnesses are backwards. So like you say, you go forward, then it goes into reverse, reverse goes into forward, or you have no throttle. Yeah, here's your electric now. But now you got to remember this too, because when you're up in here, now this one works because you got that electric hydraulic backup. Because on some of these, if you have one station going, you can't, like if I had that controls for up here to start the motors and the blue light was on, which it isn't, that means you would have to steer from back there. But this, it doesn't matter, you can go both ways. Even if the electricity goes out of those motors, you can still have the hydraulic, but it's still, even with electric, I can go front to back, which makes it really nice. That was one of my pet peeves on a couple of them. Yeah, armrests, we're in neutral. I'm gonna go up here, same thing. I'm gonna switch stations, put it in reverse, that worked. Put it in forward, that worked. Put it in forward, reverse. Okay, so they're ready to go. Then, what I do is come back here. I like to check a lot of this. Courtesy lights, that's, yep, they work. They're up underneath. See the shine? And then you got your wash down. Yep, that's working. Fish box, that's working. That's the other one. And this one here. And then the aerator is this one. So I'm gonna pop this up. And I wonder why that is not working. I'll check on that in a second. Then you got your electronics there. Yeah, aerator, that should be working, unless I'm going to shut that off for right now. Then I come up here, you got your USB. These are charging. It shows that this blue one's already charged. So I can take that off. Then what I do is I take my phone and I'm going to start up my Navionic card just in case, since I don't have no electronics. This has got the kickstand, so I can go like this. I can run it up here, and then I'll set up my Navionics to make sure it works. Okay, so now I'm going to check the horn. That works. Boy, that trumpet horn works good. Trim tabs. Yep, they work. Washers. Let me see if he's even got them. I don't see the lines, so he doesn't have that where you push in and it gives you a washer, I don't believe, because I don't see no lines going up to that unless it comes out the top somewhere. Blank bilge pump. Inside courtesy lights. Yep, they work. Anchor light, yeah, that worked, and nav lights worked. Okay, so now this, to get to your wiring, glove box, light, that works. And then I'm going to go back here and see why that fish box does not come on. Now that's C-Star's working, battery charger. For the fun of it, I'm going to turn this on here. Have station,